do. Thank you for joining us, Moira. Just so you know who you're talking to, these are my 5 and 8 star diamonds, 5 to 8 star diamonds in the West. So Texas and everything West. These are all of our leaders here, and they are extremely hard workers, absolutely incredible, moving and shaking, have big goals up to summit, and then of course to the end of the year. And they, you know, we every other week we have some great speakers come on, and your name popped up, and I was like, I know Moira, let's chat with her. So it was incredible, you know, obviously that you accepted it. So thank you so much. So let me give you a little bit of an intro and then you can tell us more about yourself. But as you all probably know, Moira is a superstar diamond from South Carolina. She is number 5 in the network. She has only been coaching a little over 3.5 years, which I think is crazy. It's absolutely amazing. She is married to Brian. They have 2 adorable children. And as you all know, she has built an incredible community with her coaches. So without further ado, Moira, if there's anything else that you would like to tell about yourself, please do. But let's just kind of jump into it, how you have built a community, and then we'll open up for questions.
Okay. I'm like, wait, I thought you guys were asking me questions. Okay. Hi, everybody. I recognize some familiar faces. Super fun. Yeah. And it's just the 3-year mark for me. And I just think that's important because like, I literally just put up a post that I was like, holy shit. Like my life 3 years ago, just 3 years ago, you guys, I hadn't said yes to coaching 3 years ago because I signed up in April. I wasn't coaching until July. And there's so much, I think there's so much power in the first 6 months of my journey. And that's something that I am always constantly going back to and trying to duplicate because something worked, right? And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So when I go back to that time, I go back to a lot of things, you know. One thing that I like spoke at leadership about last year was I came into this from a business background. And I say that meaning I didn't have any skill set, you guys. I wasn't running some like Fortune 500 company and like I didn't have a marketing degree or anything. I just knew what it was like to try to run your own business. I knew what it was like to have employees and shipping and legal fees and, you know, mop the floors and employees not showing up. Like that's the most important thing that I came into this with. And so when I came into this, I'm still shocked every day on like, how am I not paying Carl Deichler back? Like, why am I not paying him back hundreds of thousands of dollars? Because this business is exactly what I've done before, but I had a several $100,000 note that I had to pay back every single month. And so it was crazy to me to be able to earn income. I mean, my husband and I laugh all the time about it. Like he just had to buy a new truck for his business. And I'm like, how much is that going to cost? He's like, it's like $500,000. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go pay $15.95. You know, like, and so I show up every day to my business with a set of eyes that I don't think most coaches have, that this opportunity is ridiculous. And therefore I need to maximize the opportunity. But that being said, so that being said, what happened when I got here was I was broken. I was broken because of that business and businesses that I had before. I'd run myself into the ground. I had run myself into a lot of debt. And Beachbody put me back together again. And so here's something that I think is really important because even I today am always looking for like the rock star, super inspirational, social media savvy, next top 10 coach that I'm going to sign up on Instagram. And when I remember talking to an old friend of mine about 6 months ago, and her life was literally like falling apart. And I was like, Brian came home from work and I was like, I think I may have just signed up like my next top 10 coach. And he's like, I'm not getting this. Like you just told me that her life is falling apart. And I'm like, yes, but that is how Beachbody comes in, you know? And so recognize the challengers that are broken, recognize the challengers that aren't showing up, recognize the challengers that are total shit shows, because that was me. I was never posting in the challenge group. I was always ghosting my coach. I was never adding value. And the irony is we're looking only for the people that are like, oh yes, they're like coaching already. That was so not me, you guys. But when I stepped into coaching, because I needed help desperately, and my coach kept saying, you will not show up for yourself. You have a 14-month track record as my challenger, and you have never showed up for yourself. But I know you'll show up for other people. And you guys, my life was falling apart. And so when I reached out to a couple girlfriends of mine to do my first challenge with, it wasn't because I wanted to be a coach. I just wanted to save myself. And the magic happened, right? I had no desire to coach. But when their lives changed dramatically and they were super indebted and grateful to me, I was like, this is like the best work I've ever done in the world. And the cherry on top is my life has changed. And so that fire of like really showing up every day and really digging into personal development and showing up with my nutrition every day and showing up with my fitness and feeling like I was a part of that change in somebody else's journey made me want to walk through the fear, made me want to take the chance, made me want to explore coaching more. And it was in July of 2015, I watched Summit live streamed from my house because I was like really starting to get interested in like this whole thing that was a pyramid scheme in my eyes. I watched it live streamed from my couch. And then it was the next week I said, I'm going all in, and I'm going balls to the wall, and I'm going for it, because this is the opportunity of a lifetime. And this is the opportunity for all my dreams to come true. Everything I've ever wanted for myself or my family or to create in the world, this is it. And I had been the biggest skeptic for a year and a half. And so I just started that. The most important thing I can tell you guys is I had the passion. Like I was super on fire. And I was just on my team call last night talking about recruiting. Number one thing everybody says, and you guys aren't there, you guys are way beyond this, but you know, number one thing everybody says is, you know, well, I don't have your success yet. I'm not making your income. I haven't gone on the trips. And I was like, well, 3 years ago, neither had I. But I was talking about where I was going. I was talking about what I was shooting for. I was talking about the dream that I was showing up every day working for. And I was talking about the challengers' lives that were changing. There was so much change in my life happening in month number 1. It never even registered that I was like, because I just don't have that limited mindset where I'm like, well, I don't have your money yet. I don't have the trips yet. I just was like, holy shit, my life is changing. And the energy that I brought to the world was contagious. And I did all the things. We do all the things. You can't be a 5 to whatever star diamond and not do all the things. I was doing all the things. And so what happened was I also kind of, from that business background, I always worked for myself since I was 21. I'm super bullheaded and I cannot work for other people. And so I always worked for myself. And that gets really, really lonely. And all I ever wanted was like a team of people to like throw ideas around with, try things with, experiment with, like mastermind with. And so I had that craving for a team. And when my challengers started to experience like, oh my gosh, I lost 15 pounds. I feel like a freaking new mom. I never knew I could feel this way at 42 years old. I'm like, dude, you got to coach with me. Do this with me. Run this group with me. And so that they would start coaching with me. And the short of it is, and this is what I think is so powerful to tell our new coaches, is that my business was built in the first 6 to 9 months. It wasn't, yes, I continue to build it, but that foundation was built in the first 6 to 9 months. Those challengers became coaches, and it's key that they also had that like life transformation. And I'm not saying it doesn't even have to be physical. Mine was not physical. It never registered that I was supposed to have a physical transformation. I was just so on fire about what was happening on the inside. I was like, whatever, we have these coaches that are like, well, I haven't had a physical transformation. I'm like, you don't have to. But those girls became like my best friends because I needed a tribe. And so I wasn't above them. I came into coaching, they came in right with me. And they became my tribe. They became my besties. And we would text all day, every day. And like all of a sudden my life got really fun and funny, and we were just always talking about like how we can make our challenge group better. Oh my gosh, I thought about this. Oh my gosh, I thought about that. And so I think that I also was super insecure and still have that within me. And I don't ever want to be the center of attention. Like putting on a top 10 dress next week is like so not my cup of tea. Like, like, can I just sit in the audience and like take pictures, please? I don't like to be the boss. And I think because I was the boss for so long, so I still approach my team, especially my diamond team, with like, what do you guys think about this? You know, I don't come at them with like, this is what we're doing. This is the plan. This is the launch guide. This is the this. I'm like, I'm always coming at it from a place of being super on their level. And we create trainings together. We create game plans together. We create all these things together. And that builds that unity in our team. But it's just been really organic with who we are, and you know, like attracts like we're just a team. We've been a team since day one, and we've been really like best friends from day one. And granted, some of these girls like drive me crazy, but I still love them. And because, you know, it's like sometimes you get these coaches, they're not like best friend material, but we've also seen each other through that, and we can see past those things and still love and support and encourage each other. And so it's a real balance of, you know, supporting each other in life and supporting each other in business goals, and pushing each other and holding each other accountable, and not letting each other, like not letting anybody, you know, fail, and not leaving anybody behind. And yes, a large part of my team is here, but a hugely large part of my team is not here. But the girls that are here, we do, you know, we try to get together once a month. And that happened in the very beginning. And again, it was super organic. Like, why don't you guys come over and we can all work together? Like, I just wanted to hang out with people, you know? But that like really built our unity. And then that also built teams within the teams, because we're sharing that on social media and people want to be a part of that, you know? So I think that like that team factor, that culture, that team culture is super, super important. And I'm uber into personal development. So I am always like breathing life into the team with, you know, different, like, let's do this exercise around vision. Let's everybody needs to keep like this kind of journal, and let's start doing this, and let's, you know, like I always kind of bring that. And I think that's a little bit different, because I know I spoke on Melanie's call a few weeks ago, and I don't even know what I talked on. I can't even remember. But like, I remember at the end of the call, Melanie Mitro was literally like, and I was like, I hope that was good. But she was like, we've never really had a call like this. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what did I say? But there's just a lot of passion and a lot of love. And, you know, my talk that I'm giving next week at Summit is simple leadership that creates duplication. And my nutshell in that, and you'll hear this next week if you're in there, is that leadership, which scares everybody, is not everything that we think it is. You know, it's not creating graphics or creating team trainings or creating, you know, teaching them the funnel system. It's not all this complicated stuff. Like, that stuff is so above my head. Like, I don't do any of that. Leadership to me is two things. You have to lead with passion and energy and excitement and like get them fired up. But you also have to balance that with knowing your numbers forward and backward. You've got to know this comp plan. And even me saying those words like freaks me out. I'm like, I don't think I know the comp plan, but I do. You got to know, and this isn't for you guys. Again, this is for more of your coaches. If our coaches don't know team cycle bonus and caps and second business center placement and strategy, and that's kind of the comp plan numbers, you have to know that if you ever want to really build in this business. That also instills confidence in you from your team. But you also have to know hard numbers like, listen, you got to invite 100 people to get 3 yeses. That's just the nature of this business. And if you don't know things like that, then you're going to invite 20 and you're going to feel like you're not made for it. And you're going to feel like you can't do this and that, you know, this isn't for you, and you're going to quit. So you have to know like ratios and numbers and facts in order to take the negative emotion out of the business so it can be a place of positive emotion. That was pretty much all over the place, completely not planned, because I thought I was just sitting in the hot seat and you guys were going to ask me questions. But does that help, Brittany?
Oh my gosh, yes. And no, it was perfect. So don't apologize, but let's open it up for questions. So please unmute yourself. If you have an opportunity, I know a lot of you with kids out of school can't be on live, but if you can show your beautiful faces, please do. But go ahead, unmute yourself and start asking Moira some questions. Christy, you have a question.
Hey, Moira. I was curious if you do any ads or if you do everything like organic searching to ask. I know it's different for everybody, so I was just curious what you do.
Really great question. If you ask me the biggest mistake I've ever made in my business, it was I spent an obscene amount of money on ads that never got me one challenger, not one challenger or one coach. Biggest mistake I made. I had too many balls in the air last year and I was shooting for top 10. I was just super busy and stretched thin. So I farmed out ads, spent a ton of money, and never talked to one person. Big, huge mistake. So I have 100% built my business organically through my personal Facebook page and the old school method. And this is what I think is also duplicatable. Add friends to your network, CCQ them, start a conversation, follow up, build the relationship. 100%, 100%. Yeah. I see something in the chat.
I have a question, Moira.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you said, don't always look for those people that are already coaching on social media, because I think a lot of people get discouraged going that way too, because they're like, I'm nowhere near my goal. How is this person going to want to sign up with me? But the thing, I always give people a reason why coaching is for you, because coaching had changed my life. I had no idea what self-esteem was. I was still overweight. I was broke as a joke. I had every excuse that we get thrown at us. But then when I tell my coaches, look into the people that this opportunity is for, because you can find whether they're struggling in debt or they're struggling loneliness, whatever it is, Beachbody can help them. But I personally found, and a lot of my coaches struggle with this too, is when you look for those people who were where you once were, then it's hard to breathe belief into them, they can actually coach. What do you do in that situation when you do find those challengers or those prospects that really need this?
Yeah, I think such a great question. I'm let's have that answered by someone else, because I have the same question. But I think what you just said is the answer. You speak belief into them, and it's the follow-up and the follow-up and the follow-up. Because here's the irony, and I tell my team this. I had a fitness background and a nutrition background, and my coach was like, you would be really great at coaching. And I was like, what planet are you on? I could never do what you do. So if I thought for 14 months that this wasn't even in the realm of possibility of anything that I could do, then what are these other people that don't have my background thinking? Of course they're thinking they couldn't do it. So I think it's the follow-up, but you're speaking a little bit more in depth each time. And I think it can be as simple as, in your sneak peeks, I just started a sneak peek today. And I said this in the sneak peek. I was like, you guys probably look at us and think you can't do what we do. I got news for you. Anyone can do this. We literally have a library of challenge group posts that you can copy, paste, and post. We help you every step of the way. There's nothing that you need to know or need to figure out or need to create to do this job. And I think just little seeds planted like that and stories, for me, a really powerful thing that I just did organically, again, not purposefully. When I was super, super, super skeptical, I was driving around delivering juice everywhere because I had a cold pressed juice company. And I was just YouTube searching top coach success stories. And I was listening to them, and my head was she got in at the top, she did, but the more I listened, the more every story just reeled me in a little bit more. And I listened to enough stories that I finally got it. They weren't magical unicorns. There weren't only 2 of them. There were, a ton of people doing this. They were very real. I heard their struggles. I heard their insecurities. I heard the no background. I heard the no network. I heard the not in the best shape. Like, I heard enough real life stories that it changed my limited beliefs, you know? So I think it's just keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing. Yeah. Yeah. Crystal said, can I ask a question? How do you schedule your biz weekly? I am like, I love this topic. I am a big believer in like working really, really smart. And so I schedule like a boss, and I schedule like a boss because that's the only thing that gives me balance and freedom. So when my team hears that, they're like, I mean, I talk really fast too sometimes, but like, let me just pull, like last Monday, I was like, all right, I got to wake up, work out, do my PD, all that stuff. My kids are going to camp at 9. I got to go live in the sneak peek, posted this in my challenge group. And then at 9, I have an appointment with my assistant from 9 to 9:30. From 9:30 to 10:30, I'm doing a power hour. Oops, missed a call with David Atkins because I totally like forgot about it. National wake up call at 11, mastermind call at 12, one-on-one call at 12:15, check in with my speech for summit at 1 o'clock, meet with a business at 2 o'clock. Like, that's how I have to schedule my day. And that seems insane, right? Like all that, like every minute is accounted for. But if I don't do that, I don't get anything done. And then at 2 o'clock, I pick my kids up from camp and I'm like, done. I am like, I have accomplished enough today that if I don't respond and pick up my phone and get to my inbox until 9 o'clock at night when my kids go to bed, I'm okay with that. But when I don't work smart throughout the day, then I'm juggling everything simultaneously and I feel like an insane person. I mean, it's truly, I mean, I felt that way this morning, guys. It's summer. My kids are in camp. I spent an hour and a half in the car shuttling kids this morning. I was exhausted. I couldn't go to sleep last night. I was in rare form. Like, let me just tell you, rare form. My husband was not like loving me this morning. I was not very nice. And it's because look at my schedule, how it usually looks. This is like my life, scheduled and planned. And then look at this week, guys, because it's summer. I literally realized this last night. Whoopsie, didn't really schedule my life out. And I'm like, wake up and I get home 30 minutes later because of traffic. And I'm like, Jen, I got to go live in sneak peek. I got this hot seat thing. I don't know what to do here. Like, I am just losing my freaking mind on a day like today because I didn't plan out my time. So to answer in a short, like, kind of synopsis, I tell my team, like, you have to track your most important business activities. You know, are you tracking power hours? Are you tracking, and what is in that power hour? That's important because sometimes people write power hour and then they sit down and do nothing. So your power hour has to be broken down more in detail. But then for me, I track things like how many messages I'm sending, checking into all my groups, a lot of just inside stuff like writing in my vision, journal, checking in with my people that are pushing into diamond, checking in with my people that are pushing to star diamond. Those things days would just slip by and I wouldn't do those things unless, and they stress me out if I'm not like doing them. But if I just write them all down on paper and then I look at my Tuesday and I go, okay, I can actually call Maggie on my drive back from dropping the kids off at school. I can check on this girl that's pushing to diamond when I'm sitting in the carpool line. I can make my kid's dentist appointment when I get off the phone with her. Like, and I schedule every single thing in. I'm okay if it doesn't all happen, but I feel like so not stressed out when my life is scheduled. I think it's also important to know, just like I said, if it doesn't all get done, it doesn't all get done. But the fact is I have a plan and I'm working really smart. And I think Melanie's like the smartest person that we can learn from when it comes to that. She blocks her time, and you've got to have the difference between Melanie Mitro and any of us is she works smarter. She doesn't have more hours in the day. She uses them very wisely and, farms out what she can farm out that isn't worth her time doing. Does that help? How do you bring new coaches in for success? That's the never ending question, right? Me in a nutshell, what we do in a nutshell is I sign a coach up, I welcome into my team page, I send them a coach welcome letter with a ton of information. It kicks them over to a quick start training that we have. So it's like 7 quick little videos, like what is Success Club, Emerald. It kind of just touches on like how we use social media, how to invite your first few people. So it's just a little quick start. And then I set up a GSR call. So they've gone through the quick start, and then I set up a GSR call. You guys hopefully heard my national wake up call on GSR calls. Hang on one second. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. And I'll need a pen. So national wake up call, getting started right call. So this was a big eye opener to me, you guys. So I've always thought that my getting started right call is so super powerful because I really dig deep and I share my heart with them, and I end up crying and they end up crying. But like when 2 people come together and they cry and they share like their inside stuff, you really build connection with your new coaches. And when I was talking to Jeff Hill about this, I was like, he's like, tell me about your GSR call. And I was like, well, the first 30 minutes is like, we go over Success Club. What is Emerald? How to invite? What is Success Starters? How do the challenge groups work? Like all this business, like it's all business. And I'm like, but that's not really the important part. The important part that I do is like, I ask them what their fears are, like what keeps them up at night, what's the vision they have for their life, what are their wildest dreams, and I ask them to go home and create a vision. And he is the one that pointed out to me, he said, Moira, you might not think that first part of your getting started right call is important, but when you show up like, he didn't say this, but when you show up like a boss and you know your stuff, like I said, know your numbers, what kind of confidence does that instill in your new coach in who their leader is? They're like, whoa, this girl knows her shit. And then if I was to just end the call after the business stuff, they'd also probably be scared like deer in headlights. And so I wrap that up, and then I just show up as like their friend, So that's super important. Thank you. Sorry, my cleaning lady's here. I need to write her a check. Thank you. And then after that, I set up one-on-one calls with them. So this is kind of how it happens in my business. If I get this last Sunday, I did a one-on-one call, a GSR call with one coach. Normally I'm bringing in at least a few people at a time. So I'll do a GSR call with however many people have just started, have just enrolled and just gone through the quick start. And I'll say, hey, let's all get on a GSR call on Sunday night at 9. And so we'll get on a GSR call. They're always like an hour at least. And I'll get them all on a GSR call. So say on a really good week, I have 4 new coaches that I'm doing a group GSR call with. And then I say, you guys, let's do this next week. Same time, same place, 9 o'clock next Sunday night. Guess what happens? 2 of them show up. And then I say, all right, you guys, you obviously want to move your business forwards. Let's do it. Let's dig deep. Ask me all the questions. Let's take you to the next level. And then I say, let's do this call next week. And then one of them shows up. But that's my runner. And I've had one-on-one calls. And if she's going to continue to run, I will continue to do one-on-one calls with her. Or I will get her on a call with another coach that's kind of in the same place. And it's not like a set schedule, especially in summer, but I'm getting on calls with my new coaches consistently. I think that's a huge difference than a lot of top coaches. I don't think they're doing that.
Ooh, that was good. Okay. Next questions.
I do see this in the chat too, before you guys pop in. It says, what are your numbers like? I think this is ridiculously impactful. You guys, I ended the year number 5 last year, and there were some months I brought on 5 coaches. I think I averaged at one point, and my average was 10 coaches a month, 10 coaches. And so it was between 5 and 15. A lot of those are discount coaches. A lot of those are challengers saying, sign me up, I want a discount on Shakeology. So my goal is to always bring in personally, and this is not necessarily going to get me in top 10 this year, but my goal is to bring in a minimum of 5 business builders and teach them how to get into Success Club a month. When I do that, and if I have 5 people that really want to do the business and want me to train them, I usually end up with 1 person that's going to end up in Success Club moving forward every month, kind of the ratio of what it looks like. But I am not somebody with what's happening in the business right now. It's super exciting. The business is building in extraordinary ways, but I never personally want to hit Success Club 100 or 200. I'm not in this to do that. I have no desire to do that. That would make me insane, and I wouldn't have a handle on my people. So I got really clear the other day on some new goals for myself, and I'll share them with you. My goals are, if I could bring in 10 business builders a month and 10 new challengers, because often our challengers become our business builders, that would be my goal. And if I can hit SC 40 doing that, I'd be super happy. And I'd feel like I had balance in my life. What else, guys? Nothing?
Oh, they have something. Melissa Brewer, you always have a question. I'm making you talk.
I just feel like I'm listening to her and I'm like, you just make it sound so easy. Because it is.
Remind you, I was a lunatic this morning. I was not a nice person. It's not always.
I think where I'm struggling the most is just helping my coaches see the long-term vision. Like, they know that it takes hard work, but for me, for some reason, like, it just clicked so early on with me. I mean, it did take me like a full year to realize, like, oh, like, I actually could leave my full-time job doing this. But once it clicked, I was like full steam ahead. And that was when I was like committed to always hitting SC. And I feel like my coaches haven't had that click yet, or some of them haven't. And even though they have big goals and I see their why, like, I see their purpose in making this work, for some reason, like, never losing rank, always hitting SC, always doing the vital behaviors, those things that, like, we just are constantly like drilling into them aren't a non-negotiable for them. And so their businesses are like a roller coaster because they're not doing those non-negotiable things. And so I just don't know how to help them really jump on the train full steam ahead. Whereas for me, it was just like, I'm making this happen because, like, I'm going to do it no matter what. Like, that's just that's my personality. And some of them just aren't that way. So I don't know, like, I look at you and I see you just leading your team and them listening, and I'm like, how do I get my girls to listen to me? Like, I don't know.
And I really want to make sure that everyone understands that, like, it's not that easy at all. Like, I feel like every single day my team isn't listening, and every single day I have to just keep saying the same things, always. And I keep telling them, like, stories and sharing with them. Last night on the team call, I was saying, like, you got to invite 100. And it's like, I've been saying this from day one. I say it all the time. And I'm like, I bet your number one question is, where in the world do you find 100 people? And I saw like 20 heads like, yeah. And I was like, you guys, add 3 to 5 people a day and start a conversation. Like, if you're not doing that, and so I'm like, I mean, and I kind of give them that, like, frustration. Like, this is what we told you to do. If you invite 3 people a day and start a conversation, that's 100 a month. That's 1,200 a year. That's 2,400 after 2 years. It's consistency. And then I use the story of, like, Jen Hines, who's my sister-in-law, who is truly, like, somebody I wouldn't think would ever be a successful coach. I'm like, Jen is the epitome of consistency. So she's done this every single day. She's been a coach for 2 years. That means she has started 2,400 relationships in the last 2 years. Why do you think she had Success Club every month? Because she started 2,400 relationships. 3 a day. It comes down to that simple, basic behavior. you know? And so you're just reminding them and sharing with them things like, be here a year from now. And, you know, the thing that's hard too, and the thing that I battle is there's two sides to this. Like, momentum is the most powerful thing you can have in your business. And we don't necessarily create that. I mean, we kind of do as leaders, but when you get a few people that are running and hitting Star Diamond, people just tend to follow, you know, because they see it's actually possible. It's not just you telling them. But that's happening on my team. Like, people are hitting Star Diamond ranks. So people are just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that too. And they're following in their footsteps. But then I'm also having long-term diamonds quit because they feel like they're left behind. They feel like they're not succeeding at the same pace. And, you know, I'm getting ready. I've only ever had one diamond ever quit or drop rank and like be out ever. And that was the only person that didn't really get in the middle of the bed with the team and feel part of it. You know, going back to what I said in the beginning, I've always heard my coaches say, like, once you come into this, you can never leave because you've like come into a family, and it would be like leaving a family. And that's how my coaches feel. And so I've never had a diamond, and that diamond is still somewhat working the business with like 1 foot in. But I am coming up against, now that my team is really taking off and lots of people are having success, the people that are feeling like they can't keep up want to quit. And so, you know, it's balancing what's possible with the people that want to run, but then also making sure, I always say to my team, you guys, I will honor and support you in any goal you have in your life, and I can help you make that happen. If you want to be a hobby coach, if you want to be a diamond and just stay diamond so you can go to the retreats and do these things, that is awesome. Like, I will never push you beyond that unless you want me to push you. So they also know that I'm really there. I mean, I had a girl call me, she's been a diamond for 2 years, and she's like, I'm going to take my real estate license exam and like blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I am so happy that you're happy. I am so happy that you found something that you're excited for. And I feel that way. That's not bullshit. You know, that's who I am. And my coaches know that. But it's a tricky balance.
I love that. And can I just say, like, I love how so here's, I think the thing that really holds my coaches back is, in my downline, we have like Ashley Smith, who recruits 50 coaches a month, you know, and they look, instead of keeping their eyes on their business, they look at her business and they're like, well, why am I only recruiting 5 coaches and she's recruiting 50? Like, I must be a bad coach. And that's not it at all. And I need to share with them your story and how you were in the top 10. You were recruiting probably 5 to 10 coaches a month. And it's all about quality, not quantity. And I just think that makes the biggest difference if they just recognize the potential and how they can help people.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's important that I share a lot with my team, like talking to a diamond that wanted to quit yesterday because she's not the 2, 3, 5 stars like my other girls, and they came in like the same class. I was like, okay, so this is what I need you to know, that I am in and around every single day of my life. Like, she's like, it's hard, you know, it's hard. And I'm like, I get that, because I am really good friends with Holly Hillier. And I get on a one-on-one call with Holly, and in the end of like February or March, Holly had rank advanced 17 diamonds. I had rank advanced 1. So that whole comparison thing never goes away, ever. I feel the exact same. I'm in the exact same situation with these other top 10 coaches that are like, I hit SC300. I rank advanced 17 diamonds. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. I suck. I quit. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel the exact same thing you feel. We're at just different, we're in different rooms. We're in different camps. So I could easily choose to feel that, or I could go, holy shit, I'm friends with Holly fucking Hillier, who just rank advanced 17 diamonds, and I got to learn how to do that shit. You know? Like, and recognize the blessing in the fact that she's like just willing to, you know, chit chat and try to teach me and help me. And so share those stories. I was talking to Jonathan Gelfand at in Mexico. He's like our lawyer guy. He's hilarious. And I was talking to him about this, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's you experience that no matter how much success you ever have. And he shared the story with me. He's like, oh my God. I mean, you know, Brittany, you know, Jonathan, like he's hysterical. He's like, I'll never forget when Beachbody like hit it big and we got our first private jet and we had the champagne out and we fly into LAX and we think we are like sitting on top of the world. And he's like, no joke, we're in like a beater private jet. And U2 flies their like mega jet in and lands right next to them. And they were like, okay, maybe we're not that successful. You know, I'm like, you experience that whether you're Carl Deichler, Melanie Mitro, Moira Kucaba, or a diamond emerald coach. Do you want to be the person that gets over it and sees the blessing and being surrounded by success and being able to learn from it? Or do you want to be the person that quits because you think you don't measure up? No one's ever at the top. And if you're at the top, it's not fun. It's pretty lonely.
Oh, that was so good. Okay. You melted my little heart right there. Love that. Melissa, do you have any more questions for Moira? So there is a message in the thread from Christy Lyons asking, what are your favorite PD books for new coaches?
I would say Compound Effect. I mean, it's so tried and true, but like if I didn't understand and really read that book, it taught me the business. When you understand the Compound Effect, you understand how to have success in coaching. I mean, it is the compound effect. It's simple, little, tiny things that seem frivolous and not worth your time, but translate to massive success years down the road. And get over your damn self is what we're reading right now in our Emerald training. It's like what I want to tell every new coach, but don't have the guts to tell them.
Also, so Cassidy Brewer has a question. Sorry. Okay. Do you do retreats for Emerald too, or just diamonds?
No, just diamonds. Melanie was on a call of mine the other week and she's like, I just got back from my Emerald retreat. And I was like, what did you just say? And I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought I'd do an Emerald retreat. I could not handle doing an Emerald retreat with all I have on my plate. So just diamond. But one thing that, I think it's ridiculously powerful. I mean, you know, I had like 1 million diamonds and star diamond rank advancements fall through at the very end of the year. It's why we hopped to number 5, because everyone wanted to go to our retreat in January. It's strategically in January. It's also strategically in January so that we can talk about the, goals for the year and strategize and plan and really get people going at the top of the year. One thing that we're doing this year that's brand new is I felt like, gosh, nobody's excited to get to Diamond until November and December. We got to do something here. So I just started what we are calling Diamond Day. And so Diamond Retreat, people fly in. And Diamond Day, we're doing here, Charleston, because we have a huge community here. And we're taking them to like a super nice hotel day spa. So it's like definitely more than just a massage. And we're all getting together there. And then we are basically treating people that aren't here to like a ridiculous day spa experience wherever they are. And we're encouraging coaches, like if we have 2 or 3 in San Diego or San Francisco, like we're trying to get them all to get together. So it's kind of like our mid-year diamond retreat, because I'm telling you, I wouldn't have any diamonds if they weren't pushing for retreats. Most of my people are moms, and we will do anything to earn a trip or a spa day. Yeah.
Okay, we have time for one more question. And I know Cassidy let me ask you this one real quick. Do most of your coaches come from challenge groups first? Are they challengers first, or do you actually recruit them into the business?
You know, I've never looked at the numbers behind it, but my guess would be 50-50. I just talk to everybody about the coaching opportunity all the time, including my challengers, including people outside that have never done a challenge. So I talk to all the people all the time. I think the most important thing in regards to that, though, is I'm very, very firm when people come in and they want to coach and they've never done a challenge. I am very firm about you will never have success in this business if you just try to run a business. And this community, meaning the community, personal development, nutrition, and fitness, if those 4 things don't completely transform your life on some level, I'm sorry to say, but my experience has been you won't be successful as a coach. Like this has got to knock your socks off and change your life in some extraordinary way for you to have extraordinary success. So I really make them dial in their first challenge. I'm like, you have to show up as if this was your success, because this will be your success if you have a mind-blowing experience. So dial in your containers or 2B, whatever you're doing, dial in your workouts every single day, get in the middle of the challenge group, read your personal development, and that's what you will be able to speak to from here on out.
Love it. Okay, one more question if you all have it, and if not, we will close here. Just want to make sure. Yeah, Danny, go ahead.
Hey, love. Okay, so you talk about vision a lot, which I love. And I was just curious if you had like a set of questions or something that you use to like dig deep on vision, because I would love to bring that to my team.
Yeah, I've used all kinds of different things. I can probably dig something up that I've used before and send it to you guys for sure. I don't think it's like there's a magical one. I think it's really just giving them, some people need guidance on like, here's the, here's your relationship part of your life. And it asks them 5 questions. Here's the financial part of your life. And it prompts them to like get clear on their goals in that area. I think what's important is you're looking at the different areas of your life and you're thinking, where do I want to be financially? Where do I want to be with my relationships? How do I want to contribute to the world? All those different areas. What kind of house do I want? That kind of thing. And you're getting really clear. And I was going to go back and actually say that to Melissa about how do you like get your coaches to listen to you, or if they're clear on their vision and they're not doing the things. It is because they're clear on their vision in their head, but they're not reading it every day. It is the single biggest thing you could possibly do to transform your life is to read your vision every single day. I still read it every single day. It's in the back of my book, and I still track that I read my vision every single day. When I was a brand new coach, I didn't know what anything was, anything. I didn't know what superstar or whatever meant. And I wrote down, I'm a 2017 top 10 superstar diamond coach. And the next sentence said, speaking on a panel at Coach Summit and interviewed by Carl Deichler. That was the exact sentence. I mean, I've read it 723 times probably. I know it by heart. And last year they asked me to speak on stage on a panel. And I mean, I was literally like almost every single word that I've ever written down is in here. Like I have to keep adding and making changes to it because it's all coming true. But the difference is that I read it and I see it and I feel it every single day. And so I know that I know why I am doing the work. I know why I'm adding the 20 freaking people. I know why I'm doing that or why I'm doing that. It's all because this vision is at stake. And this vision runs deep for me. It's me, it's my family, it's my confidence, it's my team, it's my children, it's everything. And this business is the avenue to that.
Love that. Please do share if you come across that, share it with me and I will share it with the group.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
Last question, and I just want to close it out. So obviously we have Summit next week, but what would be your sounding advice just for these leaders that are working really hard through the end of the year?
For the end of the year, gosh, don't stop. You guys are all leaders. You said Summit, so it made me think of something. One of the best things you can tell your team, and I will be telling my team, is, we all walk in with like some type of journal. I have 1,000 of these. I would tell them to leave the first 2 pages blank, because what happens to me, and it's probably happened to you as well, is you go home with 25 pages of notes and you really don't implement anything because you have 25 pages of things you want to implement. So take your 25 pages of notes, but honestly leave the first page blank and reserve that spot for those things that are 100% non-negotiable for you to implement when you go home. So that when you go home from Summit, you have a 1-page list of 5 or 8 things that are happening that you're implementing, that you're putting into your business right away. And I would just say, make sure when you get back from Summit that you get on, what I would do is get on a goals call with every single one of your business builders, whether that's a Star Diamond or an Emerald. Get on a one-on-one call with them and map out what their goals are, what their activities are that they need, like reverse engineer that. Okay, if you want to be 5-star by December, you need to be 3-star by here. What date are you going to hit 2-star? You know, what are we doing to get there? And keep them accountable to those goals and reverse engineering them and get them really clear on, so what does that look like? If you need to find 2 more diamond coaches, you know, how many people are you inviting to the coach opportunity a day? How many sneak peeks are you running, or coach opportunity calls are you running a month? Like, what are you committing to in your business? And I think the most powerful thing you can do if you've got 3 or 4 business builders, or 8 or 10, is you're checking in with them consistently, once a month, once a week, whatever it is. And you're asking them to also give you their tracker. I always tell my team to hand me your tracker. I can't help you in your business if I don't really know what you're doing. So send me your trackers. Let me see your goals, you know, all of that stuff. Yeah.
Okay, last parting question. I know I said that was my last one, but I know that you're in the Lift 4 test group. Anything that you would like to say about Lift 4, and then we can end there.
Yes, Lift 4 is the best program I've ever done in my life, hands down, by leaps and bounds and leaps and bounds and leaps and bounds. I'm in the best shape of my life with the most time back in my life ever. And I will be the guilty, hopefully Joel will never listen to this call, I have not abided by the nutrition plan 100%. That is always my struggle. I have done every single workout, because it's 4 workouts a week, you guys, for 30 minutes. It's not that hard to do it. But I have gotten crazy results. It's been amazing for me and my husband to do together. Get behind this launch, especially in the summer. This summer is this solution. Like, this couldn't be at a better time coming out, that this is what people need to be doing in the summer. You know, I don't even plan my workouts. I just am like, I'm just doing whatever, because it's super easy to squeeze 30 minutes in. It's also the perfect program to market to couples, the perfect program to market to men. It is very much lifting. I mean, I've said for the longest time, whenever we're doing a program, I'm like, why do we not have a program that's just half weightlifting and half HIIT training? Like, why? And now we came out with it. It's perfection. It really, really is. It's so simple. It's not complicated. If you ever want to get behind a launch, it's now, and it's not too late, because we don't start till July. So you have time. I always feel like I'm behind the 8 ball with launches, so you guys probably do too. Get behind it right now. You know, we've got the before lift workouts. So this whole next month, you can be sharing about it and talking about it and getting people on board. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want to miss that opportunity, because I've seen all your posts and they're absolutely incredible. So thank you. Thank you so much for just all of your wisdom, all of your honesty. I love the real, I love the raw, and extremely relatable. So thank you for taking the time with my ladies. We can't wait to see you next week at Summit. But thank you again.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. You guys are awesome.
See ya.
Bye.